Good evening, everyone. It's 8 o'clock on a Monday evening. Well, actually, it's gone 8 o'clock. I do apologise. But it is now time for episode 70 of Wilson Waffling Live. Let's run those titles.
Waffling.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You will not believe the hassle I've had today. You will not just believe. You are lucky to have me here at all. Sorry about I forgot to put my mic on again. I forgot to put my mic on again. I look brighter now, which is fantastic. And I've got my title down below, which is also good. So we are ready. We are ready for episode 70 of Wilson Waffling Live. Oh, do you want to... I've literally finished work, just gone 7 o'clock, so like 7:15, and I've dashed home, haven't had anything to eat or anything like that, just come straight in. I might have to, during the website roundup, I might have to go off and grab a drink or something like that. I don't know how long my throat's going to last just talking, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there. So feel free if you wish to interact with this show. So if you're watching the live version of it, then you can actually put your comments into the message box, which is on YouTube, which I think is over there somewhere, just sort of like down there somewhere. So if you would like to chat in there, and if you see me doing this anytime throughout the show, it's because I'm looking over there and checking on the chat. Are my headphones on right? So that's what I'll be doing that. You could also, of course, you can tweet me at iWilsonYSJ, and you can, any comments or any of the questions that I actually state, then by all means do that and tweet me if you're listening to live, or if you are listening to the recorded version of this show, then yet again, by all means, just tweet me after, or then you'll have to put the comments down below, okay? And if you are coming along and you are watching this show for the first time, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and maybe press that subscribe button wherever it is. Well, you can find it. Can you remember, I've been looking at some famous YouTubers and trying to see what they actually say, and they always do that, and they're sort of like, why not put a thumbs up or write a comment down below? But I've got something specifically for you to write there, so don't worry. So what's on tonight's show? Well, first of all, pretty soon we're going to have a look at the tweets of the week, which I quickly had to grab before coming on here, so I'll share them with you. I like to keep that up to date, so I don't like to do it last week. I try to keep up to date, so we'll do that. We're then going to have a blast through some of the stories from last week, including the really important one from Friday to do with education, and that is called, of course, in the website roundup. We're then going to have teacher tidbits. Wilson Waffling teaches you, and that's when I give you some ideas that you could use in school. And then, of course, we've got Ask Waffling Wilson, where I grab my app and I see whether or not you have posted me any questions to answer this week. So, what I like to do at the beginning of this show, to get you going, to get your minds going, to get you into some sort of creativity, that mode of creativity, then I like to set you something that I called a SODA, which is a start of day activity. And I think I'm going to call it a SOSA, a start of show activity. So this is just to get your mind going. So you can either tweet me in the answer at @iWilsonYSJ, or you can put it in the chat room just down there. Or if you come to this later on, then you can put it in the comments below, and wherever you want to put it, and that's fine with me. So remember, when I was in school and a primary school teacher, then I would set up an idea every morning. So when the children came in, they sort of like had something to interact with, something to think about. So here's one for you. Here's one for you. Okay, then. So imagine that you found a magic ring that can be placed on one of your fingers. Okay, now once it's on that finger, it will allow you to do something every time you touch something with that finger. Okay, so it's a bit like the Skittle idea, you know, that sort of thing. But however, remember, once you've put it on a finger, the ring can never come off, and you'll have that forever. So two questions. Number one, which finger would you put it on? That's the first thing. And the second thing is what would you want that ring to do? So two questions there. So which finger would you like to put it on? So you might have left hand index finger, or right hand little pinky finger. Do you call that a pinky? I often called it a pinky. I'm not too sure whether or not people still call it pinkies or not. So let me know. And what would you have it do? Would you like it to touch, everything you touch turn to gold? Would you like everything you touch to transform into something, or to disappear, or to disintegrate, or to do something for good? What would you like it to do? Okay, you have a think. Now you can either tweet that to me, you can either tweet that directly to me at @iWilsonYSJ. Hang on a minute, I forgot. I keep forgetting I'm on the radio show when I can't do this, but I forget I could actually do this, look, at @iWilsonYSJ. Or you can add anything using the hashtag YSJPrimeEd there. And so you can tweet me in. Or if you're watching the recorded version of this, you can also put it down in the comments below. And don't forget, while you're there, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get on to something else. Let's do the tweets of the week. I think we had a slight glitch there, didn't we? We had a slight glitch, but I think I got away with it. So, this week in the Tweets of the Week, we're going to have a whole load of mathematical games, because the first years are currently creating mathematical games that they're taking out into school, and they do their assignment on it, and they reflect on how the children engage with it, the use of resources, etc. So what I've got for you today is that I've got a whole load of mathematical games. So let me just do this on here. So here's the first one. So this one is from Lauren, and this is a wonderful Roman numeral mass resource there. And can you see that on each one it's sort of like split up into pies? I really like the look of this. Split up into pies, and you've got like pie pieces into thirds, and you've got like the number, the digit, and then the Roman numeral there. And I think that'd be really good, because you could actually cover some of those up, couldn't you, and get the children to guess what was underneath one. You could sort of like make additional pie pieces, and then that would actually cover it up, and then the children could actually guess. Now, the next one that we have here, keeping on the maths games, here's Minion Rescue. And you probably know that I often call myself a minion. You know, I'm sort of like lowest of the low. And here's Minion Rescue. And this is by Ellie. And she's done almost like a board game here. And as you can see, as you move around it, you can add on scores and count them up, which is absolutely fantastic. I like that. Anything to do with minions would be fine. Now, Nicole has done something to do with the jungle. So jungle themes mass activity went fab. So Nicole obviously created it and actually has put it together and actually used it, which is absolutely fantastic. So this seems to be, I think what you might do is actually follow the footprints around, maybe start to finish. And I think up at the top there, I'm just trying to see on my picture, I think there's almost like Dora Explorer characters, sort of like up there at the top, which look absolutely fantastic, which those are really nice. But it obviously went well. I think there's calculations there in the middle, calculations in the middle. Now, keeping with the idea, this is Ellie's Baldwin's, and she's got a maths game. And it looks like dominoes or maybe loop cards or something like that. And I think the answer to this is to say, sorry, my name is 10. I'm 10. 100 take away 13. And the person who has 87 is 87, so forth and so on. And a part of their activity, apart from their assignment side, they actually submit a concept map. And you can see that on the left there, beginning to be created, to be handed in as part of the assignment. So these are first year undergrads on the BA Primary Education course. So you can see some wonderful work going on in maths. I must say at this point that you might think this is very maths heavy, but that's because I'm teaching maths. And at the moment, this is one of the only topics that I sort of like modules that is still going on. Here's Beth. And yesterday we followed structures to create images of animals from 2D shapes. Fantastic. And there's a little numeracy display there in the background. I wonder whether or not Beth actually put that up. If you put that up, Beth, can you sort of like let me know and send me a tweet at iWilsonYSJ and let me know. Notice we've got some frogs, and I think there's a cat that's saying, I think it says meow there, and there's a little what looks like a flying chicken or maybe a pumpkin or something like that. Not a pumpkin. What am I talking about? It's not a flying pumpkin, Ian. Chicken or pelican or puffin. I thought it might look like a puffin. I do like the frogs there. So wonderful sort of like pieces of 3D artwork there from instructions. So combining English and mathematics there. Now here's Lisa Ward, and she's saying this is a reception game that she had used in school. And as you can see here, she's actually saying would rather be playing my maths game again with reception than having to reflect on it. And that's nice to know. That's nice to know that students really like being in school and interacting with children, because that's what they want to do. That's their sort of like aim in life, isn't it? That's what their career is. But it's nice that she's had a go at this and now she's reflecting, and that's part of the assignment. So that's the hard work part coming in. Not that teaching's not hard work, they're both hard work, but just extra things to do. Now here's an interesting one, because this is from Hannah, and Hannah says here, love planning and carrying out this lesson on earthworms. Here are my receptions, worm hotels. Well, this is absolutely fantastic. So they obviously got some worms and they've made up layers. Layers are sort of like soil there. And then the idea, I think, is that the worms will live in there, and then they will actually go up and down and hopefully mix up those soil layers. Although I do think it might happen in the middle, not necessarily on the outside, but it'd be fantastic for the reception children to actually have a look at that, which would be brilliant. So we're hopefully that you'll get some good pictures of that, Hannah. And hopefully if you find this, once they're finished, then by all means, let me see them. That would be fantastic. And this is going back one. To the story sacks. This is Hannah. The owl who was afraid of the dark story sack is complete. Yay! I remember, I'm sure Hannah, we did a tweet from Hannah earlier on that in a past show that actually showed her sewing that bag. So that looks fantastic. I love the little owl there. And this is something else that the first years are busy doing at the present moment in time, and hopefully enjoying it as well. I just realised that my microphone's a bit far away. Hopefully you can still hear me. Perhaps that's a little bit better. And then finally, and this is an action shot. This is an action shot because this is something that Tom tweeted today. This was in my maths session, and this was actually a student-led session, and you can see they're playing dominoes here. But it's a very special game of dominoes because if you look, there's not just dots on the actual on the cards. There's actually calculations and answers, and some of them are quite tricky. So that was a good differentiation, a good adaptation of learning there. And Tom was busy enjoying playing that. Now, I've just realized that my microphone, I was just about to put the shot back on and then suddenly realized that my microphone is, so I've got rid of it. It'll have to be a little bit higher. So here I am back again. So some wonderful tweets of the week there. Some wonderful tweets of the week. So I hope you enjoyed looking at that. And remember, if you would like your tweet to appear in Tweets of the Week, then just make sure that you use the hashtag YSJPrimeEd, and then I will feature it and I will share it with everybody who is looking in at the show tonight. So what else can we do? Well, remember, you can get in touch with me by going across to iWilson@YSJ. One of the other places that you can actually get in touch with me, or is worth checking out, is, of course, the wilsonwaffling.co.uk website. Ooh, I just zoomed down in the corner there. So here it is. You can go there to wilsonwaffling.co.uk and you can find lots of ideas on there. And on here is also all the teaching ideas that I give you. And I will show you where they are later on in the show. So don't go away. Now, remember, if you would like to ask me a question, it's never too late to ask me a question on the live show. You just need to go along to this webpage here, and you can type in your question anonymously. I can't say that word, but I'll try. And you can type it in there. Alternatively, if you go along to this website, wilsonwaffling.co.uk, just up here, there's a little button right there in the middle. Let me just zoom in for you. Zoom, 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 zoom. Just here, there's a button that says Ask Me. And if you press the Ask Me button, it takes you to this. And here are some questions. This is where you actually ask your question. You can just type it in here. Who would you like to meet from the past? So here's where I answer that question. And this one, this was a strange question. That just said, somebody was watching it and they said, do you need help? Do you need help? I mean, I wasn't too sure what that actually meant. But anyway, it's there for you to actually join in with if you wish. If you wish. Oh, now then, there's interesting that then somebody has just tweeted something that looks really nice, but I think I will save that for next week's show. So, as I said earlier on, I just dashed in from work, so I'm going to give you something to watch when I just go and quickly get a drink, because next we're going to have the website roundup, and this is pre-recorded, so you'll notice that I'll change my outfit, so please bear with me when that happens. And this is a collection of important news that I found on the internet last week, including the very important news that actually happened on Friday. Here is the website roundup. Hello and welcome to this week's website roundup. Let's start with the most recent and the most dramatic news of the week. For some episodes now, I have been telling you about the arguments and the resignations which have been rocking the world of education since the government's announcement to make all schools academies by 2022. Despite only last week, when I was quoting David Cameron that the government would be ploughing forward with their proposals, Nicky Morgan announced last Friday that plans would now be dropped. Rather than a simple U-turn, this seems to be a full-blown handbrake turn with accompanying squeals of tyres and the blooms of smoking rubber. In a speech, she stated that she still would like all schools to be academies, but it would not be required by law, saying that they, as in the government, would much prefer schools to continue and choose for themselves whether or not to go down the academy route. Lucy Powell, the Shadow Education Secretary, said, "It is frankly a humiliating climb down by for David Cameron and his Education Secretary, who just weeks ago was insisting that they would plough on with this regardless of policy." The white paper still contains the contentious plans to removing the rights of parents to be represented at academies' governing boards and the radical proposals allowing head teachers to award QTS. Local authorities will still have the power to force underperforming schools to change to academies, and as well as coasting schools. After weeks of this discussion, it seems that the government might at least have seen sense and changed its plans. Now they only need to see sense over the other points within the white paper, and education might actually get back to focusing on progression and the enjoyment of learning. Maybe the current government can be seen as underperforming. Can we change them into an academy too? Last Monday saw what was being heralded as the first children's strike ever, as parents and children boycotted the SATs test in Year 2 and Year 6. Although up to 30,000 families were said to be backing the strike, turnout varied widely. The Guardian reported that in Newcastle a substantial number of parents kept their children off school, while in Reading few parents even knew that the boycott was taking place. The biggest public event appears to have been in Brighton, when the children's laureate Chris Riddle addressed hundreds of families at Preston Park in the demonstration organised by parents of children at several local primary schools. Ironically, Nicky Morgan commented that participating in a one-day-long strike could harm the children's education. This is another battle which the government are fighting and trying desperately to keep a handle on. I've worked within education for some time now, and although there has always been testing of some description for almost all the time, it has never got to either this level of testing or response. I must say that I was impressed with some of the slogans on the boycotting banners. "I'm sharpening my subordinate clauses," and "Take a hammer to grammar." I hope they got a high pass for those. Staying with testing of children within school, Michael Rosen wrote in The Guardian last Tuesday about the number of letters he is receiving from parents, teachers and school governors telling him about the stress that children in Year 2 and 6 are being placed under because of the tests. He proposes that the government are not actually recognising how serious the issue is. He criticises the design and content of this test, stating that current tests have been ramped up and constructed entirely around right or wrong answers that is having a serious impact on teaching. I'm going to direct quote the next section directly from Mr. Rosen, since I don't think I could have put it any better. "This is the principle behind the tests that are giving the children such hell. The teacher's input, their quality of teaching, is rated according to the pupil's output, their test scores. And what's wrong with that, you say? Several things. To make the test valid, education has to be narrowed down to facts that must not be debated or interpreted. There can be no debate or choice over what knowledge is being tested. The learner is reduced to a receptacle that either does or does not regurgitate these facts. Yet, it is not the receptacle being tested. It is the person pouring input into the receptacle. And children are not receptacles or cars or machines. They are humans with views of what they are learning and how they feel." Testing is not only having a very serious impact on the mental and physical well-being of children, it is actually damaging the education system. Within higher education, we want to develop opinionated learners who want to and feel that they can challenge theory and statements, not just be a container in which we pour information into. The implementation of these tests is impacting on children's learning, and this is the environment where the government is asking to increase the value and level of education can only be seen, in my opinion, to leading towards school producing identical clones. Education is not what I, for a long time, referred to as a sausage factory, although this appears to be what the government is wanting. It is always important as practitioners within the profession we stand together and understand everyone's jobs. We shouldn't be blaming the year below when children can't do their full stops. We should be celebrating what they can do and take note on the efforts that both the child and the teacher have put into learning. This week's secret teacher really disappointed me, as it referred to the early years setting being provided with little or no respect. EYFS is a unique learning environment which takes years to actually know, understand and then implement effectively. Many of the ways of learning within the setting I think should be implemented throughout the primary school. Why can children aged 3 to 5 choose how they want to learn, but then later on we sit them down and tell them how they are going to learn? The report speaks of the lack of understanding of the setting and the exclusion of the reception class from school's activity, including one situation when they arrived in the hall for assembly to be told that it was not appropriate for them and would go over their heads. The class had to turn around and leave straight away. The secret teacher reported that it was heartbreaking to walk her kids straight back to the class to have one ask, "Why do we have to leave assembly?" I really hope that this is an exception to the rule and that this lack of understanding is not the norm throughout schools. I would recommend to anyone, even if you don't teach EYFS, that you take the time to engage with the theories associated with learning of children at that age and how, and perhaps more importantly, why the setting is set up and engaged with in the way it is. Remember, it's through knowledge and understanding that we gain respect. Not sure if that's the correct quote, but it sounded good. And finally, this article is not directed at primary schools in preparation for their SATs, but I know some older students listen to this show and they might be preparing for GCSEs, A-level, AS levels or even uni exams. The Guardian last Saturday produced an article titled "The Way We're Revising May Let You Down in Exams, and Here's Why." It is written by a psychologist and claims that even the best advice can be useless if you don't realise why it works. Understanding one fundamental principle of human memory can help you avoid wasting time studying the wrong way. It's worth taking some time out of the revision schedule to actually have a read. Or, even better, if you are revising too hard, just take time out. Links to all these articles can be found in the description below this video or on wilsonwaffling.co.uk in this episode's waffle. And that concludes this week's website roundup. Okay, I realise I have a bit of a problem, a bit of difficulty saying website roundup. I'm going to have to practice that. Hang on. Sorry, while you were away, I quickly grabbed a bit of bread and cheese. I don't have any butter around my mouth, do I? So, right, and I brought some water with me. Just 1 second. That's better. Just lubricating the throat there. So, hope you enjoyed that website roundup. Did you notice? I think I'm getting better. You might not think it, but I think I'm getting better with the script at the moment. You know, I think I'm working on that, and I tried to use some more slidey things. Okay, but hopefully, I don't know if you noticed, I actually had a lapel microphone on, and I actually recorded that on a different camera, but I hope it sounded all right, and I do apologise. I'm getting better, I think, or getting used to reading a script. So hopefully I get better and better. But hopefully that was a good roundup of the website roundup from last week. So let's blast on with today's show. Let's blast on and see what else we're going to do. We're going to have a look at Wilson's Tidbits now, or I don't know what I want to call this. I don't like teaching tidbits. I don't like that. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to call it. But it's rather, I used to do opinion minion section when I used to tell you what I think about things. And I don't think that was very well received. I don't think a lot of people cared about what I thought. So I thought I would give you something. So remember, we had the soda, or the saucer, or the SOSA, the start of show activity, when I asked you if you had a ring that you could put on any one of your fingers that once it was on, everything you touched did something, what would you get it to do? So which finger would it be on, and what would be the action that you would want that finger to do? So you try it with the children. Try it with the children tomorrow in the first lesson, and then you can add some comments down below, or even get your kids to log on to this show and add it below. That would be fantastic. Or anything that you would do yourself. What would you say? Get those creative juices flowing. Excuse me. There was a bit of cheese, I think, got stuck down the pipes. The other thing that I would like to do is give you an idea about something that you can do in school. A quick idea, so you've got something from the show. Now, what I would like to say at this point is that if you do go along to wilsonwaffling.co.uk and click on the Waffling forums here's the Waffling forums, and about halfway down, just here where it says 11, just along there is the option there to do teaching and lesson ideas. And when you click on this, you get all the lessons. And what I'm currently doing at the moment, oh look, there's me live. Look, there's me live. What I'm currently doing at the moment is working my way through some of these to sort of like encourage you to go and have a look at them. And then hopefully what I'll do eventually, I will do once I've finished these, then I'll start to give you some new ones as well. So what I would like to focus on today is one that is called the lift problem. Now, what I need to say at this point, I need to say that this is not actually my idea. And I'm not going to take credit to this. I'm going to give the credit to Jeremy Denton, and I nicked this from Twitter. But I'm also going to expand on it slightly. So here is the original idea. So this is not mine. This is Jeremy Denton's here. And you can see it here, and it says, as an unusual lift, how would you get to the second, first and third floors? And can you see there's a lift, and you can only go up by 3 floors or down by 7 floors. And this is from a wonderful tweet chat, which is #MathsChat or #MathsCPD chat. So if you're a bit of a mathematician, then this will be something for you to go and have a look on Twitter and have a look. I think it's either Tuesday or Thursday night, but somebody in the comments will add that, I am sure. Now, I would like to extend this slightly, a little bit more mathematician, a little bit more mathematics, but I'd like to extend it slightly more. Okay, because what I would like to say is that a really good thing that you can do. Now, before you all turn around and hit me, I know calculators are not the most popular thing in mathematics at the moment, but I still think that they're very useful and very good and very important for the children to engage with. So imagine this as an activity for the children just to get thinking. It's all about thinking and mathematical reasoning and working mathematically rather than actually doing the calculation. So what you do is you actually give the children like 2 numbers, 2 operations and an equal sign. So what you could do, you could give them 2, 4, take away, times and equals. You could give them 5, 1, add, divide and equals. If you put divide in there, it becomes a lot more difficult. You might actually get some dice and roll the dice, and it might be randomly generated. And then what you've got to do is using only those numbers, operations and equal sign. You use a calculator and you try to make all the numbers between 1 and 20, so, or 1 and 10. So if we had 2, 4 and take away and times and equals, and you can use those numbers as many times as you want, So to get 1, we could do, I don't know, who can think of how to get 1 from there? I wonder, can we get 1 from 4 to take away and times and equals? Have a think about it. Can you get 1? 2 we can get quite easily, can't we? Because we can say 4 take away 2 is 2. How can you get 3? How can you get 4, 5, etc., etc. So have a think. Is it possible? Can you do it with two even numbers? Do you need an even and an odd number? Do we need 2 and 5, for example? Would that be easier? If we had 2 and 5, we could do 5 take away 2 is 3, take away 2 makes 1, so forth and so on. Now, the alternative way to do this, and this is a different way, is to roll 4 six-sided dice. So you get 4 numbers, okay? And then use those numbers with any operations and an equal sign to try to get all the numbers between 1 and 20. So you've got several things there to go on. You've got this this lift idea from Jeremy Denton, which was a good one. That was tweeted some time ago, I think. Some time ago there. And then you've got 2 mathematical number and calculation games to play there. So when you give them, say, 2 numbers, so like 5 and 2, 2 operations like times and takeaway and an equal sign, and they use the calculator to try to make all the numbers between 1 and 20. They can use those numbers as many times as they wish. Or you roll 4 dice, so you get 4 six-sided dice, so you get 4 numbers, and then you can use any operation to make all the numbers between 1 and 20 the same way. So I hope that has given you some ideas for the, what should we call this segment? I'm thinking waffling, teaching ideas. Oh, that sounds so boring, teaching ideas. If you've got a good idea from it, then put it in the comments below and we'll have a look at them. Or you could email me at iwilsonysj@gmail.com. So now let's get ready for the wonderful Ask Waffling Wilson section. I was going to play something then, but that's not actually what I want. This is what I want. Let's do the Ask Waffling Wilson.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Ask Waffling Wilson.
Please note, the new number is...
Ask Waffling Wilson.
Hello?
Hello? So remember what the idea of this is that you can ask me any question that you want. And if you go along to this website here, so http://ask.fm/waffling Wilson. You can ask me the question there, or if you go along to wilsonwaffling.co.uk, the website, there's a little button in the top navigation bar that says ask me, and you can type in your question there, and it could be anonymous if you wish, or you could put your name in there if you wish. If you want to put your name, then just add it at the beginning, and that comes along and it comes to my faithful phone here, and it comes straight to my application, and then I can answer the question live on air for you. Right. Ooh, right. Now let's see. I can't remember. I think I have answered those questions. So here we go. We can't do that. Somebody asked for a picture of what the weather's like, which we can't do. Right. What colour are my eyes? So this is quite an easy one. What colour are my eyes? Well, you know, they're brownish. They're about brownish. Okay, they're about brownish. So that's an easy one. Thank you for that. That was somebody called Laura. Thank you for asking me that question. And the second question, now we were talking about in mathematics today about shops online, and somebody said, what is your favourite shopping shop? What is your favourite shopping shop? I think it means like clothes shopping shop. So my favourite place to shop at for clothes is probably Next. And because I think I'm too old for things like Top Man and River Island and things like that. But Next, I quite like this. They're sort of like trendy but sensible Next clothes. And for food, I'm sorry, I actually shop at Sainsbury's, who actually got vegan cheese in very recently. So I was really pleased about that. They actually got some vegan cheese in, so I'm really dead chuffed about that. But yeah, I shop at Sainsbury's for food, and clothes shopping is mainly Next. Oh, I do like H&M's shirts and t-shirts and hoodies. I quite like hoodies. I'm quite a hoodie person. I think it's a bit like a cardigan with attitude. That's what I think a hoodie is. It's sort of like a cardigan with attitude. So I quite like that idea. So remember, if you would like to ask me any question, then you can go along to this side. Or you can actually go to wilsonwaffling.co.uk and press the Ask Me button right at the top. Right, so we have come. Don't forget, with the teaching bits, you can always go along to the forum, and you can join the forums, and by registering, there's a register button over there, so you can always go and post your own ideas and comments either on the forum there or down below. And remember, if you do join the forums, you get the opportunity to start collecting your open badges from wilsonwaffling.co.uk, and you can gain ranks and eventually become a waffling legend. Just think yourself lucky. Think yourself lucky. Now, there's just one thing that I suddenly remembered that I had to look at. And I don't think we're fine. I just was checking the education blog, but I don't think we've got anything posted on that this week. That's very lapse on my behalf, but I will look into that later. So we've come to the end of Wilson Waffling Live, episode 70. Can you believe we've done 70 shows of this? You're probably thinking, yes, we can. But yeah, I'm 30 away from 100. I can't wait till we get for 100. So one thing that you might want to do, by all means, go to the YouTube channel and look back on the first one. Look back on some of the others. One of them actually got a huge amount of views, but it's only because I used the hashtag Calabro in it. I put a tag saying Calabro, and there's loads of people went and watched it. I don't know why they watched it, because there's nothing exciting in it. Also, remember that you can follow me on the usual social media, so you can go along to Facebook and watch me on, go to Wilson Waffling Facebook page. You can follow me on Twitter at iWilsonYSJ, and hopefully you can see me on YouTube. And by all means, press that button and hit that subscribe button and be one of the first people ever to give me a thumbs up. The only time I've ever had a thumbs up on this show is when I've given it myself. So if you are watching it, it would be fantastic to give me a thumbs up. That would be really happy about that. It will make my day. Also, don't forget that you can, of course, nip along to my radio station, which is at wilsonwafflingradio.co.uk, and you might hear something like this.
Music and chat
Across the internet on Wilson Waffling Radio.
Music and chat
Across the internet on Wilson Waffling Radio.
Music and chat.
And that'll be fantastic, won't it? So, wilsonwaffling.co.uk. I'm still creating that website, so bear with me. But there is a player on there that you can press and start listening. So, we have come to the end. We have come to the end of episode 70. Episode 70 of Wilson Waffling Live. I do apologise for the late start. I was really late at work, but I managed to get here and share with you some interesting tidbits, I hope. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Or is there anything that you would like me to discuss on this show, then please just let me know. Thank you to my viewers. Thank you if you watch this live. I don't know who you are, but thank you very much for watching. I can see there's a few people watching me at the moment. And don't forget, you can always go and watch the recorded version if you've missed any of tonight's show. Without much ado, I only managed to not get my microphone on once tonight, so that's an improvement to last week. I'm going to leave you with the wonderful theme tune. So, until episode 71, until next week on Monday at 8 o'clock at episode 71. Until then, I will see you next week. And until then, please just consider yourself waffled. Have fun. Catch you later. Bye.
Waffling. Wilson Waffling.